Hey guys, it's Angel with Angel Owens Photography. I'm a wedding photographer out in Texas who specializes in light and timeless images as well as telling couples' authentic love story, and I really truly believe in connections. So I'm glad you're here. Today is Wedding Tip Wednesday. Whether you're a bride, a groom, or somebody looking into marriage, this is basically Wedding 101 or whatever you want to call it for planning your day. And simple tips that really do go a long way. So the tip for this week is whether to hire a planner. So there's two different ways to look at it. There's the bride who does hire the planner, and she has so many good things to say about it, and she says that she could not have done it without her planner on that day. And then you have the other bride who didn't have the wedding planner, who didn't fit it into her budget beforehand, and she has more stressful things to say about her wedding. So those two little stories should play a big part in I think why you should hire a planner. But I would love to share with you 3 tips on why I think it's important as an even wedding photographer for you to hire a planner. So tip number 1, before you do anything other than planning your date, maybe set aside some time to go meet with some planners. See whose story meshes well with you, and whose values line up with yours, because you're going to get the most out of somebody who you can connect with versus somebody you don't connect with. You're going to be spending a lot of time with them, so you really want to enjoy their company, and they overall are going to help you so much with your day. And if you book a planner far out in advance, like soon after you have chosen your venue and chosen your date, then they actually will be able to help you with the budget. And I think it's so great that so many people don't really think about them as helping their budget because you're having to spend money on your planner, but really so they will be able to send you vendors who are price friendly to your budget. And that is so great. And sometimes if you're an impulse buyer, like when you go through Hobby Lobby and you see the wedding section and stuff is on sale and you do impulse buy, they know your values, and they know really what you're wanting for your day. It doesn't line up with your vision, and doesn't line up with your budget, and it doesn't line up with other things that you really would rather spend your money on. So that's tip number 1. So tip number 2, what do you do when you have some family members such as your aunt or great cousin who want to help out and plan your wedding day? I would highly suggest, yes, let them help with something. Put them in charge of something, because you're actually going to wish you had their help later on down the road than turning it away. But I would say save the planning for a professionalist, because you are truly going to get the best results if you do that. If you let somebody help plan a wedding that is not their profession, they don't know really what goes on during a wedding, and all the ins and outs and all the behind the scenes and talking to the vendors and just everything that goes into a wedding. But if you have a professional person do it, a professional planner, a stylist, a coordinator, they really do know how to connect with the vendors, talk with the vendors. They know how to be on top of everything. They know about the timeline. They know about pretty much all the ins and outs. So that has a lot of value. And it also then saves some relationships of those family members that wanted to help plan your day if they have a job, whereas now they can actually enjoy the wedding and be guests, and you can leave the planning up to your planner, and then nothing has to be a weird situation with you and a family member. So that's what I have for tip 2. So now tip 3 is the timeline. So the planner does an amazing timeline, whereas a photographer, what I do for my couples, is I send them a photographer timeline, and this covers from when I arrive, from when I leave, so the pictures all in between that. So what the planner does, on the other hand, is will do from start to finish of your day and all the in-betweens. So whereas I don't know when your cake artist is going to arrive, I don't know when your DJ is coming, I don't know all those things. That's something your planner will know. And so when they write up your timeline, they have everybody's schedule, and so then that can all be put into the big game plan for your day. And it's so much easier if you have a professional person put this together for you, because they know what time it takes to get all these things accomplished. and rolling smoothly. So that's all I have for the 3 tips, but I would love to share with you a little bit of my experience on what I did and things I wish I might have done differently. So I was actually, surprisingly enough, the DIY bride when it came to planning and styling. And I really did fall short when it came to coordinating my day, because as a bride, you think you're gonna know everything that you plan that day, but we were like so blown away because it's like we got to our wedding day and I was like on cloud 9, and I'm sure Mike was nervous for the ceremony, and so all these feels and like you just kind of, everything just like kind of goes away and you kind of forget everything that you planned or things that were really important to you. And so, I mean, we missed things that were in my timeline that were really important to me. And things went wrong right before I walked down the aisle, and I was the one to have to fix it. So if I can try to steer you away from that stress that I felt from not having that professional person there doing all those tasks that I stressed out about, I highly, highly recommend that you really look into a planner and you look into what it's worth to you, what your sanity is worth, because I really thought I would be fine. And I mean, when I look back at our wedding, we loved our wedding. It was so much fun, but there was things in our wedding that could have been different and could have been prevented if we had somebody professional. So I just wanted to give a shout out real quick to Taylor Bible. She is a planner out in Waco, Texas. In the blog that has 8 tips, where I only listed 3 here, she shares some really helpful advice as well that's kind of mixed into what I'm saying. You can see that on the blog, and she is amazing. She is an event planner, a stylist, coordinator, you name it. She's based out of Waco, and she travels from Waco to Fredericksburg for weddings. So if you're in the Waco area, you should definitely look Taylor up. She is great. And that's all I have today for Wedding Tips Wednesday. I hope this helped you any, and I hope that you go over to the blog if you're somebody who struggles with knowing whether to hire a planner or if it's even in your budget. Whichever way you're leaning, I think this blog is really going to be an important read for you, because you'll be able to see true experience of what it's like without a planner, and also what it could be like with a planner. Why they overall make a big difference in stress levels and everything else on your wedding day and your whole planning season. So I hope this was helpful to you, and I will see y'all next Wednesday.